Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about using your intuition in the garden. First of all, we're going to start with my Valentine's Day gift, which is this beautiful copper digger that darling husband Nick has made for me. So using my copper digger and barefoot in lovely cotton clothing, I am ready to garden today. Today I'm going to be sowing some miner's lettuce because here we are in February, the end of summer, and now's the time to be sowing such things. So how you do it is you use your intuition to, of course, always tune into what feels good. If something feels tight or kind of a bit edgy, not quite right, then that means it's a no. So always remembering that your intuition will show you what is right with what feels good, what feels easy, what feels nice, what feels doable, what doesn't take effort. So I've used my intuition to tune into this bed here that I prepared, a few days ago. What I do is I get the chicken manure from the chicken coop. I put it all into an old feed bag and I let it sit for quite a while, and then I can pour it straight into the beds. Slight little, we do a no-dig bed here, so a slight little turn around, let it rest, mulched, of course, with silage, and that was perhaps about a week ago, so I reckon I'm ready to go. Now, what I'm doing is I'm using my copper tool and I just gently loosened the topsoil. And now what I'm doing is I'm getting my miner's lettuce seeds. I don't know why it's not self-seeding at the moment, so I had to go out and buy some. So I've got my miner's lettuce seeds here. Now they are absolutely tiny, so I won't be putting them in my mouth under my tongue for them to absorb my saliva and my DNA to grow for me because they're a bit too small, and I find it's too hard to get them back out. So I'm going to pour them in here that I'm going to use. A bit stuck because they're so tiny. Okay, so that's about half of them. Make sure you always close the bag back up because you don't want them to spread everywhere. And make sure that your fingers are dry as well. So now what I did with my intuition coming into this space this morning is I felt into what I needed to grow and what I needed to sow. And I had a look at what I needed to do. And lettuce is one of those things. So I've chosen the miner's lettuce. That felt right to me. It felt good. It didn't feel sticky or hard. And then I chose this particular area. And then when I looked over, I noticed that I've already got some lettuce growing nicely now. So this is a lovely continuation on with that. So it's got to feel good. Okay, so I'm getting my little seeds. And what I'm going to do is I'm just, because they're so tiny, I'm just going to sprinkle them on top like this. And what I'm actually going to do is I think I'm going to use them all because there's not a lot of seeds here. And tip them all out if I can. Tiny little things, aren't they? Get them all into the easy part of my hand to pick up. And again, just gently spreading them around. So now what I need to do is use my intuition again to tune in to what I've done and to the ground. Now, does that feel good? Is the question I'm always asking. And yes, it does feel good. It feels like I'm in the right place. I've sown them nicely. It's all good. Lovely day. Perfect. Now, what feels like the right thing for me to do next? So I will ask that question. What feels like the right thing for me to do next? And the answer that I'm getting is to very gently, using my fingers, just to do this. Just sort of tickling the surface of the ground. And that's going to let them sort of fall in a bit. Now I'm going to give it a slight press. Just gently. And I'm going to move the silage back a bit so that it's not exposing so much of the soil. Okay, so tuning in again and using my intuition once again in this process, I'm going to ask, what do I need to do next in relation to the sowing of the miner's lettuce? So for instance, I would be thinking, do I need to water those seeds in? I'm getting a no answer, and that's probably because I did water last night and the ground's very soft and I don't want to drown the seeds. So my feeling is I don't really need to do anything. The only thing I can really do is just sit here and be present with these seeds, noticing where I am, noticing my body on the ground, noticing the sun on my body, feeling the garden, and linking myself into that. So that's how I've used my intuition today to make sure that I've sown the right seeds in the right place to get a lovely crop of Mightness lettuce.